Hey guys, Jason the Phone Boy here. Wanted to go over my fire kit. A lot of people talk about their EDCs, and this is actually part of my EDC system. This is sure fire, guaranteed fire no matter where I'm at, under any circumstance. This is just a small military Alice pack. Little Alice clips here. You can get these for about $1.50, $1.25 at most military surplus stores. It also has a piece of cordage that comes out here. That's actually the cordage to my fire steel, and it helps me to just kind of tie this thing off to objects, no matter what it is that I attach it to. So if I open it up, I have written down in permanent marker on the top the things that are in here. I have out of here. So inside of this kit, I have first on my list a lighter, which is a Bic mini lighter. These are really good for guaranteed fire, no matter where you're at. It has a flame. If it has a flame, it's guaranteed fire. The problem is if these get wet, if the conditions are too cold in some places. I've heard that these don't work, and you have a fuel issue. You start running out of fuel, and then you're kind of stuck. So this is a really good way to get a fire going, because it actually has a flame. But the problem is you have fuel and stuff like that, and sometimes if it gets wet, it's not going to work. You have to dry it out. You have to wait for it to dry, and that may not be conducive to the situation that you're in. You might need to start a fire quickly in order to ward off hypothermia. So lighters are a good thing to have for like sunny, dry days where it's easy to work with, but definitely something you should have in your kit just because it's practical. Next on my list is a Light My Fire steel, which is actually not next on the list, but this is guaranteed fire. Wet, cold conditions, dry, hot conditions, no matter what, you have guaranteed fire. Now you say, well, why do you have a lighter if you have a fire steel? Redundancy. Anybody who's into survival type stuff should know the purpose behind redundancy. If for some reason, say I'm using this rod and I've had it happen where the rod breaks. Now it wasn't an actual Light My Fire steel. However, I have had rods break, and then you're stuck. What do? Well, you have a lighter. Backup. Redundancy. Can't explain how much redundancy matters when you're in a survival situation. So that works. Cold, wet, dry conditions. No matter what, it'll work. As long as it doesn't break or something happen. So, next on my list would be matches. This is a waterproof match container. It has a small ferro rod right here on the top, or on the bottom. It is a waterproof container, and this not only houses matches, which we'll go over the matches first and then move on. In my cap, I have a striker. These are just regular kitchen matches that I have dipped in a wax solution 2 times, and that allows them to burn longer, and it also helps with a secondary coating of waterproof. Some of the waterproof matches that are out there are dipped in a wax. Some are actually sprayed with like a Scotch Guard. I've learned that you can actually Scotch Guard matches, and it will work as well. But in my cap, just take the match and pop off a square piece of cardboard, and inside is another square piece of cardboard, which is actually my lighting material, or my striking material. So I can strike on the top of the cap, and what that's good for is I don't have to dump my matches out. If it's a wet environment, I can keep my matches kind of covered while I strike a match. Once again, in a wet environment, I'll probably use a fire steel, but it helps. Now, that's not the only striker that I have in here. Of course, like I said, redundancy matters. So I have 2 long strips of striking material. that's inside of my waterproof match container. So I have plenty of striking material. Now, for my fire steel, I couldn't call this a surefire kit unless I had a tinder method for my fire steel. Well, we'll move over here for our tinder methods. These are jute twine that has been dipped in wax or soaked in wax. These work really well. I got this idea actually from Paul Scheider from Hedgehog Leatherworks. Brilliant idea. I love it. It's a lifesaver. They're very small and compact, and I've got 6 of them here, which one of them I'm going to use just for, purposes to show you how it works. You simply take the stick here, and you can kind of fray it out on one end. You can see the wax fall off of there. You just basically fray it out on the ends. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. What I normally do is I take it, put it in my palm once I've got it sort of frayed, and I roll it around in a circular motion, and that'll pull most of your stuff out. Now, I'm not going to really fray this real good because it's going to take too long. But in a wilderness situation, if you really need fire, fray it really, really good. Then you can just take your fire steel. I tend to actually pinch it down using the fire steel. I hold the material to the ground and then push my striker. Because if you try to pull it, your sparks are going to go all over the place. Whereas if you do it this way, you're not going to knock this out of the way, and you're guaranteed all your sparks are going to hit your material. So it took me a couple of times because I didn't fray it out really good, but these burn for about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on their length, and they actually are kind of hard to put out. The wind blowing on them doesn't put them out as easily as you would think, or as easily as matches. Now these will obviously light using a flame source. So that right there is a surefire means using a fire steel. Also, in here, if I can get it out, I have 2 cotton balls. I'll just leave the other one in there. I have 2 cotton balls in the bottom. These are not Vaseline covered. They're just regular cotton balls. And you can just peel off enough to get the flame going to start one of these or whatever. This is just another backup method for surefire. This is not waterproof. However, these are waterproof. I have soaked these for over 24 hours before, pulled them out, they lit right up. These are waterproof means for fire starting using a fire steel. So that's a tinder option. I guess I'll leave this cotton ball out. So that's 2 tinder options for my fire, for surefire. My third tinder option is my fob candle. This is a pill fob container for putting medications inside of that goes on your keychain. You open it up, and what it has is jute twine sticks, kind of like this, wedged in there this way, and they're stuffed in there really tight. But this is not wax. This does not have wax in it. It's just jute twine stuffed in there, and then it has been covered with lighter fluid, and this takes a spark really easily. Okay, take it a little bit more serious and I can hit it. So it takes a spark really easily. It's very important when you make one of these, and I go over all this well, I will go over this in a future video. It occurred to me that I didn't actually make a video explaining how to build these, but when you char the top, it takes a spark a lot easier. But it's also a semi-waterproof container because it has an O-ring at the top, and I have actually taken these off, dipped them in water, taken them out, dried them off using like a shirt or a towel, and then lit them. So those will light, even if they've been wet. That one right there will burn for about 30 minutes. So these are 3 tinder sources. I have 3 ignition sources, matches, lighter, fire steel, 3 tinder sources, cotton ball, jute twine stakes, pill fob. The last thing on my list is a knife. This is a small knife. It has 2 blades on it. It is an Appalachian Trail knife. You can get these at Home Depot for, I think, $10-15. Can't remember, it's been a few years since I bought this. The reason I have a knife in there is for being able to trim down sticks and to do things such as make feather sticks out of. So this is actually to use natural materials for a kindling source. So ignition, tinder, kindling. So I have all my bases covered inside this pouch. I like this because it all fits inside this container, which is not a very large container by any means. It'll fit in your pocket, and it's guaranteed fire no matter where you go. You can throw a Fresnel lens in there if you wanted to. I don't, because if it's a hot, sunny, dry day, I'm going to use my fire steel anyway. So there's an idea for some of you guys of just one part of my EDC that I carry with me no matter where I go. And I hope that somebody will find this and come up with their own ideas. Think about it. Like I said, you could fit all you need in a fire kit inside of this. So, hope you guys like it. Thanks.